I think what you're trying to ask is why am I so insistent upon giving out to them that blackness, that black power, that black pushing them to identify with black culture. I think that's what you're asking. I have no choice over it. In the first place, to me, we are the most beautiful creatures in the whole world, black people. I mean, and I mean that in every sense, outside and inside. And to me, we have a culture that is surpassed by no other civilization, but we don't know anything about it. So again, I think I've said this before in this same interview, I think at some time before, my job is to somehow make them curious enough or persuade them by hook or crook to get more aware of themselves and where they came from and what they are into and what is already there, and just to bring it out. This is what compels me to compel them, and I will do it by whatever means necessary.
I feel like being black is this overarching thing in all of my identifiers, you know what I mean? It's something that can't be separated from who I am in any way. Like, I am a woman, but I'm a black woman. I'm a guitarist, but I'm a black guitarist. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never going to be just a musician. I'm going to be a black musician, a black female musician. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think there in this society there's no such thing as being one whole human race. As much as people would like to think that that's a thing, I don't really think it is. Paying attention to being black is very important. Like, it's just something that you can't avoid, because people don't avoid it either. Like, they pass judgments on you because of your skin color.
Yeah, I guess like the color of my skin kind of like reinstates like the fact, like, if you see me, you're like, oh well, she's black, clearly. Like, she's not like mixed or anything like that, she's just like regular black. So she is clearly loud, she's clearly like boisterous, she's clearly extremely outspoken.
I feel like some of the most famous stereotypes are like, all black women are angry, we're aggressive, we're just not like, we're not really clever, we're ugly.
They're ghetto, ratchet, whatever that is.
The ratchet black girl.
Like, this is the black girl and she's ghetto.
The ratchet girl.
Ratchet or whatever.
It's only become the ratchet black girl when I've gone into like the workplace or places that are more populated by people who aren't black. So like going to school in the Bronx was normal. Seeing that was normal. It wasn't seen as being ghetto until we stepped out of that zone that a lot of black people are in.
Ratchet girls are the best. The ratchet girl is the original carefree black girl because she didn't give a fuck. And she wanted you to know that she didn't give a fuck. And she was going to do whatever it is that she wanted to do. Honestly, there's the ratchet type within every race. But, you know, black women, we bear the brunt of the distaste when it comes to that trope of women.
There are definitely roots in anti-blackness, and the thing is, like, I'm a really understanding person, so I understand where these roots of anti-blackness come from. Like, they are so perpetuated in our society, so it's like embedded into like our media, it's embedded into like the books that we read, it's embedded into the television that we watch. Like, growing up, I hated myself, and I didn't even know why I hated myself until I was old enough to understand, wow, like, that these are just messages and subliminals that have been like placed into my brain.
I forgot my dad told me like there was like this experiment that was given place, and they put the two dolls in front of like the kid. They asked the child which one's the bad doll, and they pointed to the black one. They're like, which one's the good doll, and they pointed to the white one.
And why is that doll pretty?
Because she's white and he has 2 eyes.
Which doll is the ugly doll? Why is that doll ugly?
Because he's black.
Which doll looks most like you?
Like me?
Yeah, which one looks like you?
And that one.
Okay.
That doll.
It's just more about like how people perceived you, and like how people sat there and gave off an image for black women. You get what I'm saying? That allow people to not want to look at the black girl, and made themselves turn to the Spanish girl with nice hair, or fair skin and stuff like that.
My preference growing up, my dream man was a dark chocolate man who was tall. He looked like, Kofi Sorbet. He looked like that. And every guy that I ran into, and to my disappointment, didn't want anything to do with a girl who looked like me.
With the black men, they perpetuate their anti-blackness depending on the woman that they date.
I mean, you can't say somebody's type or nothing, but you can pay attention to certain things. And I always felt like whoever I wanted, in that case, always wanted a light-skinned girl or Hispanic girl or a certain look. Like, there was just a certain look for years that everybody was going after.
Colorism is definitely something that is embedded in our society. I think there's definitely a hierarchy when it comes to race.
You have your Spanish girls / snow bunnies at the top. Then the middle is like light skin, brown skin women. And then at the very bottom, you have your dark skin, nappy haired, not cool, ratchet bitch. Being a dark skinned girl is really hard because there's always a target on your back.
I was teased for being dark skinned. When I was in middle school, elementary school, I was teased for that. I want to tell the story, but I don't want to tell the story because I know I'm going to cry, but I have to tell the story. I remember I was in the 6th grade. It was 12 and it was about to be the last day of school. I remember that day, my grandmother, she spoiled us that day. We got our hair done. She got us to get our nails done. We had that day in school, I looked really nice. I had my hair done, I had my nails done, I had everything done, and I felt so beautiful that day. Damn, this is why I didn't want to tell this, but I felt so beautiful that day. And I remember it was this boy. He didn't go to our school, and he just came in, and I guess my friends found him attractive, and they were flirting with him or whatever, and I didn't find him attractive, so I was kind of on the sideline. And my friends, they were talking and they were like, oh, would you date me? Would you date me? And I remember he was like, oh, I would date all of y'all except for her. Because, damn, I hate telling this story, but, he was like, oh, I wouldn't date her because I wouldn't be able to see her at the dinner table. And it's not the fact that he said that. It was just that day, I felt so beautiful. Sorry.
Take your time.
I felt so beautiful that day. And the fact that this person that I didn't even know was able to just take my joy like that and just showed me at a young age that no matter how beautiful I think I am, that doesn't matter because I'm dark and darkness is ugly. So I remember I just started bleaching myself, and I started bleaching myself until I was I want to say 16. I just hated myself. It's messed up, but I really did.
I've only ever had one boyfriend, and that's my boyfriend now. He's what every black man should be. He was trained to respect black women and respect women in general, but especially his own.
Violet, do it like a cover girl kind of thing.
When I was in Africa, I was circumcised, so that's something I just felt no one would ever understand. I didn't just get circumcised. My circumcision went really left. It just wasn't right, and it left really bad scars, and that just made put my confidence down. I was willing to stay a virgin forever because I just wasn't confident with myself, and I felt that because it was an African thing, it was okay to do something like that. Then I had a boyfriend, and then he just built my confidence. It's not even because of oh, we had sex, that it wasn't even like that. He built my confidence to the point where I didn't even care anymore about that. So he really did help my confidence. That's what I mean, black men just need to stop being dicks and just take us for how we are.
I think black men kind of forget about black women sometimes, and they just they're like, oh, we are black and we struggle, but then they forget that that they're tearing down their women as they do that.
Men on a daily, you know, calling women out their names. Yo, bitch. Yo, this. Yo, that. Yo, ma. Like, at the end of the day, I could say, I can't come up with the line, but Tupac said it best. Like, we have to care for our women. You get what I'm saying? If you're showing a female that she's not nothing, or you treating her like she's worth nothing, you're doing as much damage as she is to her own self, believing in it.
Hold yourself accountable. Hold yourselves accountable, honestly, because I see a lot of woke black dudes like, yeah, like, you know, black women, but when your bro is dogging us out, you like, oh, that's not my business. That's what he does on his account. No, check yourself and check him, because if it's not checked, it's going to run rampant.
When I hear a black man say like negative things about black women, that hurts me, because you're black, like, we're black. How could you, like, when I look at a black man, I see a reflection of myself. So how could you look at me and not see the same thing? Like, I would never disrespect a black man because my father is black. If I have a son, he's gonna be black.
I'm gonna be real, like, we go up for black men, and black men don't go up for us. When we are killed unjustly, there is no media coverage. No one is showing up. We have to go up for ourselves. Whenever there's a black man killed unjustly or imprisoned unjustly, we are on the front lines. Every single time. Not your Kim Kardashians, not your Karuchis, not your J-Los, your black women, the women who look like you.
Oh, watch out, there's people behind you. I definitely felt isolated from my peers, and I always felt frustrated that I was never able to be, like, I would try so hard to fit in, but I was always frustrated that I was never gonna be able to fit in completely. What I hated the most was my hair, and like when I was like 5 or 6, when I was in kindergarten, I remember seeing all the little girls with their ponytails. Like, all I wanted was a ponytail that was like swingy, and like, but I started getting relaxers when I was like 5 or 6 years old, because I told my mom that I wanted my hair to be straight. And so I got relaxers like until I was 18.
My mother permed my hair when I was 9 or 10, one of those ages. Just because my hair was too thick for her to deal with.
She permed my hair when I was 3.
And when I turned 11, we started relaxing it, because my neighbor who was black was like, you should relax your hair. My hair is such a big part of my my life journey. I didn't look in the mirror for a long time. Like, I wouldn't look at myself because I just didn't feel like beautiful. When I learned how to like just accept the way I look, the way I am, who I am as a person, like starting from my hair, it started with my head, you know, it started here and then it like went to everything. I got in the bathroom and I was crying, I was bawling my eyes out, and I was like, I guess it was like a control thing. It's like, if I can't control anything in this world, but I can control like this hair. And I cut it. I cut all the straight ends, and it was in the sink, and I looked at it and I was just bawling. And it wasn't even like a sad thing, like, oh, I cut off my hair, like, I'm like, why did I do that? It was like, I felt liberated. It felt like suddenly a huge weight was off of me, and I was like, I looked in the mirror and I finally saw myself.
Okay. I did it.
Like, it was absolutely crazy. Like, actually looking back to it, I remember that vividly. I looked in the mirror and I was like, you're beautiful, you know what I mean? I took a selfie and I posted it on Twitter, and that was huge, because like, I did not take pictures. Like, I didn't really like taking pictures of myself. And like after I cut my hair and I took that selfie, I put it on Twitter, and I was like, yo, I cut my hair. I showed the picture of the hair in the sink. Like, I started to really like come into myself. That was like a huge moment for me to really like accept myself, and like I started like dressing confidently. Like although I always dressed very outside of the box, like I started dressing. I didn't feel weird about the way I like to dress. I didn't feel weird about the music that I listened to. I didn't feel weird about the way my hair looked, or the fact that I had like, I used to have really bad acne. Like none of that really bothered me anymore, because like I felt like me. It was me. It was just like, stop trying to change the parts of you that come out of you, you know, like accepting that that this is my hair, that this is my skin, this is my body, this is my existence, and it is perfect in every way without anything, you know, like that was huge.
No, it is definitely not a trend.
I feel as though it's not a trend.
It's not a trend to me. I can't speak for everyone else. Like, I don't know what people see as a trend, but for me, it's not a trend.
It's not a trend. This is something like we've been fighting for.
There is a conspiracy in the land. It's a conspiracy to wipe out the black community as a whole.
In the 1960s, they had sit-ins and protests and things like that. Now we have social media, and so I think that the black empowerment will evolve and change with the time.
A lot of people are more open to, you know, seeing everything that's going on, and like we were talking about earlier, that has to do with the shootings, that has to do with the Trump election, that has to do with just everything we're getting thrown in our face on a day-to-day basis.
You have people learning their history, you have people knowing where they come from, and it's like, I really feel like it's only a matter of time before we do have enough people to kind of start like a revolution and kind of change the way we are viewed. I just don't think at this point there are enough people who are aware.
Turn and look at the camera.
I didn't really start to learn about who I was until I accepted my blackness and like became less afraid to show it. Like I grew up in Austin, Texas, and Austin is literally like the amount of black people in Austin you can count on one hand. Once I got to college and I met like other black girls who had similar experiences to me, we bonded over that.
Being around other black women is like, it's really empowering, even when it's like just casual, just regular.
It's something about being around other black women who understand your, I don't want to make it seem like being a black woman is this horrible struggle, but it's definitely things that we go through, and being with someone that can understand that and identify with you is really, you know, refreshing.
There's nothing like the support and love of a black woman, because no one's going to support us like we support us, honestly. We are the divine feminine, so everyone is following what in our footsteps.
Queen Latifah Private song, what was that song? Unity. UNITY, that drink. I always felt good. Like even at my shows, I remember it was an all-female show, and like just being around all-female artists, that was like the best feeling, because it's like, yo, I'm not the only one doing this. Like there's a whole bunch of other females that's out here that could bring something to the table. Like we're not just there listening and sitting back, or we're not just there fitting into what society wants us to do, freaking washing dishes and washing clothes. Because my father at one point was like that, like, you wash the dishes, my son doesn't. And I'm like, why not? And it's because I was the girl.
Yeah, I got the sword. Hey. But you know that I'm a bull.
Hey. There's only so long that you can do that to us, where we're like, you know what, fuck this. We're gonna break the rules. We're gonna protest your hair rules. We're gonna wear our afros. We're gonna wear our dreads. We're gonna dress how we want. We can no longer be boxed in.
There's so many different elements to being black. Being black isn't like two-dimensional. It's not even three-dimensional. You're so many different like facets of beautiful and just intelligent and like mystical, like in a sense. Like there's so many different levels to this shit. I think it's important to acknowledge the most physical and most obvious part of yourself.
I love being black. I actually wouldn't, genuinely wouldn't want to be anything other than black. Getting this tattoo, I love when I'm out, like especially in the summertime, and it's visible. Because sometimes I get like strange looks and I catch people staring at it, and I want them to know like, this is a black woman on my arm with her gigantic afro, and like I'm very happy to be black.
Once I got older and just learning about, you know, loving yourself, I tell Bree all the time, I'm like, I'm not attracted to no type of, no disrespect to anybody. I'm like, I want no Spanish girl. I need me a nice, strong, educated, melanated, independent woman. And people laugh when they hear that, but it's like, you know, it's true.
Before, I just like, I didn't really like, being black wasn't like something that was like, wee. But now, like, I am proud to be black.
I know personally I grew up with the thought and the notion that like being black isn't beautiful, when now I'm just like, I love my skin, like I'm glowing, I'm beautiful, I'm lovely, and I am a goddess in my head. Like I think that's the biggest difference that I've noticed within myself from now and who I was when I was 11, because I was nowhere near this confident.
I used to have this idea that like only rock music was by white people. Then I learned that black people invented rock music. We're not taught our own history. Through learning the history of my people, I've been able to learn how to like love myself and appreciate that I come from that. Black people are like the genesis of everything.
When I started reading about black people, it made me proud of who I was. I literally could sit here and say I'm a proud black woman. I came from these amazing people. Like I came from kings and queens, and like how could I not be proud of that?
They really want us melanated people to feel like worthless, to feel like we are powerless people, when really we are gods. We hold all of the power in us because we are melanated people.
If I wasn't black, I would hate black people too. Like I would, because we're just, everything we do is just amazing. Coconut oil, melted coconut oil, and like just like glitter. That's what I can think. And like a little sprinkle of like chocolate dust, and like just mix it together. Try it. It must look like, it must look magical. That's what we are.
We are who we are.
I woke up this morning with a different mental. Same shit, different day though. Try to keep it PG, but it ain't Play-Doh. Got them running circles like it's a maze, yo. When I took they style just to show them I could do it. Everything I spit is fluent. Clueless people wonder why I'm ruthless, cause I had to fight and I have the scars to prove it. They tryna get right off the boozing. I'm tryna get mine in the booth then. No.
That's a rap. Oh, really? Say a rap. Bitch, you can't fuck with me if you wanted to. These is rap. Oh my god.